Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
There we go. Wow, not sure what the hell happened there. I almost feel like I have to do that again. Hold on. Okay, that felt better. It wasn't satisfying. Hey, hope you guys are doing okay there in Texas. Floods. We gave $500 there yesterday to a flood. So has everybody now had a chance to watch the special? Yesterday I did the show and nobody'd watched it yet. Maybe 2 people. So have you guys got to see it? Yeah, just checking. Did you guys get to see it or not? Hey, Alley Cake, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a while. I must be 100 seconds behind because nobody answered the question that I just asked. Yeah. Okay, now we're getting answers. Why not, Paulette? Why not? Let's see. I've been looking into this serial kill. It's from a long time ago. It's one that's solved, but I wanted to look into that one. It's pretty interesting. What do you mean? What's special? Yikes. All right. Let's see. Watch the Peacock show, but not the Prime. Yeah, well, the Prime one is the new one. The Peacock one is... that one was okay. I don't know. There's almost nothing new in any of them. And I guess this last special was based off of the Patterson book information. So now I'm wondering what the Patterson book... Maybe they saved some of the good stuff for that. I don't know. But. Right. Why didn't you watch it, Paulette? Come on. My God. Nope. Almost defiantly. You know. I must have seen it, but what do you mean? I must have seen it, but have been watching the drive-bys you did. So interesting. I must have seen it. Huh. Yeah, well, I have other drive... When you say drive-by, what are you talking about? The 360-degree video? Notice how Paulette's not answering my question? Let's see. Yeah, you watched all 4 of them. Yeah, so I thought the first 2 episodes were better than the number 3 and 4. Hey, thanks, Richard Watts. How's it going? visually showed how the people and sleuths targeted went. Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been trying to tell everybody too. You know, people like JLR and even some of the ones that are, you know, it's just they were horrendous during that. I mean, that was a few years back. Hopefully they're different now. But as you can see, a lot of the people are the exact same way on true crime. I mean, the clown, the UK guy, the Embry, J.E. or whatever the hell his name is. They're all the same, just trashing innocent people over and over and over and over again. Even when they're presented with information that they're not the person, they just keep going and going and going and going and going. Hey, Paulette, are you ever going to answer? You don't have any of those? Well, maybe we'll have to do something where we go on Discord. We can just play live and watch it together. I can probably do something like that, I think. I don't know. Sometimes they block streaming ability on those services. Yeah, it was terrible how they were treated. You know, even to this day, that one guy, when you search his name on Google, apparently it shows up first. But hey guys, it's another show just like all the other shows, so if you guys can help support the channel tonight, I would appreciate it. I don't want it to be, yesterday we finally got there, but it was one of those, we got there because we did a fundraiser, but we still didn't even get to the number that we needed for the fundraiser. I just made up the difference myself. All right, so, tonight, if you guys have the ability to, that would be great. Thank you. Thanks, Naomi McFarlane. I don't know what I'm not liking the @ names. I don't know who people are that are normally here. You could be somebody called Oogla Boogla Freak, and over for 5 years, and now it's Jim Smith from Texas in the @ I don't know. Well, he is, Simon. But the thing is, he doesn't think so. But he is. I think he knows. See, I think the UK guy, when he goes home and he looks at himself in the mirror at night, is disgusted. Not only, for many, many reasons, but when he goes to sleep, he is embarrassed because that whole day, every single element of every show that he did for a 2-year period was utterly false. Okay? Yes, just suckering every single one of them. Yeah, it's just really embarrassing. Thanks, Jeannie. Do you think it's possible? Why is it all caps, by the way? We only let one person. That's Richard Watts. Do the. He has an unfortunate last name, but yeah, he's the only one that does all caps. So I can't see what you wrote until we get that small. I'll do it anyways. Let's see. Let me get the screen's gonna go dark for a second here. Doesn't look like the live chat overlay. Let me see. They're supposed to be... Okay, that one showed up. Okay, now it seems to work. Alright. This is the long one. Gray Hughes, do you think it's possible that the delay in calling 911, oh my god, because there had been underage drinking, did you think they waited up and allowed? We're back to that again? Oh man, I'm just totally uninterested. Alright, let's see. I wanted to go, I want to have your guys' thoughts on the special. You're related to Chris Watts, Richard Watts, I sure as hell hope not. Yeah, it's just totally meaningless. I don't care why they were, why the delay was. I don't care about anything. Nobody would have been saved. Nothing would have happened. But no, I don't think what you said is why. I think it's exactly why, as they explained in the special. They're just, people were drinking and they weren't really sure what happened or what was happening. They never watched anything happening. One of them merely saw a guy walking out. All right. But man, the focus on Dylan and Bethany, still to this day, wanting to know a reason why and giving some probable, it's crazy to me. It's not related to anything. It's part of the case in terms of like a timeline and just sort of, it's over there. It's not in the lane of what happened in the case. It's just sort of, oh, okay, they called the police 8 hours after the man was in the house. Okay. Yeah, it's just, we've gone over it 100 times and I've explained exactly why they acted, and guess what? That's exactly why they acted that way. A psychologist even on that special said exactly what I've been saying, that their behavior was absolutely normal for people that were traumatized. And I've tried to explain with my own life experience when I was a kid, and just how people in general are. Just being a person, we know how people are. They don't want to, face the truth in reality when there's this crazy incident going on. You'd rather have not see it. So they, the only one, Dylan's really the only one who could have gone out and started looking at everything, but didn't want to, because if her fears became real, then it's real. I mean, you can kind of keep trying to rationalize things, etc., when you don't see it. Like if you heard a car crash outside and one of your family members just left the house, I don't know if you might be inside and you're just kind of you don't really want to look outside, because once you look outside and you verify it, then your whole world is now changing. Right? That's the truth. It has nothing to do with underage drinking and all that shit. Just total. It's like reaching too far, trying to find something. No, it wasn't part one. It was a 4-part series on Amazon, as we've been talking about for days on here. And then yesterday we tried to do a review of it, but nobody saw it. So I thought, okay, now I'll wait for today, because surely people that are interested in the case would want to go out and watch it. But apparently not. That's what's so funny about this case, is you got people that are just so, experts, and they're always saying, oh, I hit a great hit. And then you ask them about something, and then they didn't really see it. I understand if you don't have access to it, you didn't see it. But if you're really somebody that's following the case, you should be really prioritizing anything that comes out to go look at it, to see what it's saying. That one was a really good job on talking about, I thought it was the best of the best one for factual information was Datelines, but this one was the best one to sort of tell the story of what happened and what the effect it had on family members. And I thought it was interesting how they did talk about, the two parents that represented the 4 were Ethan Chapin's parents and Madison Mogan's parents, who have a different last name because her mom married somebody else. I thought that was a touching story when she said that she was called, one day she referred to him as her dad, finally, and that made him feel great. To her friends, she goes, hey, this is my dad, and he was overwhelmed with, he felt really proud or something. So, I mean, yeah, the thing about it was, it made me want the death penalty more for Kohberger after watching that. However, there was one side of me that was like, I could absolutely see, when you watch that, you understand exactly why Madison Mogen's mom and the Chapins were okay with the plea deal. Do you guys agree with that? Like, if you watch that, you can see, and it made sense, actually. It made sense why they would be okay with the plea deal. And Ethan's mom was hadn't gone to one hearing and was never going to go to any of the trials or anything. And she said it's because she can't change a damn thing. You know, the thing is, when you watch it, you can see it, though. You see exactly why. I mean, I think Madison Mogen's mom was pretty fragile, and, you know, like in terms of emotionally, and it just seems like she needs to heal and move forward in her life. That was her only kid, too, so, you know, I think it's particularly shitty for her, but, you know, maybe she wants to enjoy the next 25 years instead of having to go to appeals and, you know, keep waiting for some, you know, the death penalty. Almost kind of a weird, I mean, it must be sort of a weird feeling, you know, for 20-something years hoping, you know, is this going to be the year we finally get to kill this guy, you know? I mean, he deserves to get be executed by a firing squad. As a matter of fact, they should actually kill him exactly the same way that he killed all four of them. That's how they should do it, but apparently they don't. But hey, guys, we're at $6 currently, so if we have people out there that can help support the channel, that would be great. It's really kind of a struggling time to even get people to, you know, it's like I have to ask way too much, and I want you guys to realize that on this channel, you guys are the sole source of the income for the channel. There isn't any other when you're watching it. Now, yes, there are people who do channel memberships, but that, when you add it all, that's always a really small amount. Like, I have a really small tier down there, so it just doesn't do it. All right, so if you guys, you know, have the ability to on these shows, I would appreciate your support, because you guys are it. You know, there's no ad revenue, there's nothing. So for me to do these shows, it's got to be worth it, and at the end of the month, it allows us to do all the great things that we do every single month. Like last month, we donated $3,000. The month before that, $5,000, and we just did $500 last night. And so that's kind of how it goes in here. So hopefully you guys want to continue the, you know, what we've been doing, tradition, whatever you want to call it, for all these years, where we're making a big difference. We've put over $100,000 in a DNA fund. We've got, we're at $12,000 already given out for our scholarship fund, and we have $5,000 sitting in it. We're needing another $1,000 to give out another round of three $2,000 scholarships again. So we're working on that, and I need your guys' support. All right, so if you have the ability to, please consider supporting the channel. I notice whenever I say this recently, you guys are all talking about something completely different and maybe not even listening anymore, but it needs to mean something to you when I'm saying this. All right, thank you. All right, what's this? Yeah, I mean, people are saying hi and this and that and the other thing, but it's like, I'm trying to let you guys know this. We already got a horrendous start again on the show, so see if we can avoid it. You know what's amazing is how all these people are talking about Elliot Rodger and the killer, you know, and Kohberger. And I brought it up before Kohberger was even arrested. I showed you guys that last night. It's crazy. I mean, I did it then. I've talked about it 2 or 3 times since then, because I thought he was like an incel type. Whoever the killer was an incel type. Yeah, well, you see that though, Alley Cake? Even after I mention that, it's the same. Nothing. You know, it's just... All right, here's the. I wanted to kind of go over this article that was in on Fox today. And by the way, here's a press conference. I don't know what day this was, but it's just a short comment by, it looks like, Madison Mogen's attorney.
We thank the many people across our nation and beyond who have reached out to us, prayed for us, and extended their kindness. You too have helped us on our journey to heal. We now embark on a new path. We turn from tragedy and mourning. We turn from...
Yeah, shouldn't they be about themselves, Miriam? It was in the documentary. The Chapins are all about the Chapins. Okay. So what? Aren't you about your family?
Darkness and uncertainty of the legal process to the light of the future. We have closure. We embark on a path of hope and healing. We invite all of those who have mourned with us to join us, and we wish you well. Thank you.
Yeah, so they're on a path of healing. Sounds like that the dad at one time of Madison Mogen wanted to do something. Yeah, it's not like Elliot Rodger. I said that last night. All right, let's go back to this. But hopefully you guys heard what I just said a second ago, because we're still exactly the same numbers that we were a minute ago. All right, Brian Kohberger, a painfully awkward, arrogant, introverted, and criminal justice student. A painfully awkward, arrogant, introvert. That's pretty funny. Believed he could have committed the perfect murders, James Patterson said. You know? I think he did try to do that. I think we all agree. He was a criminology student. He had studied all of the different ways not to contaminate a crime scene, even asked other criminals what it was like, etc. So, and it says, one of the things that Professor Catherine Ramblin said, that with murders like this, they get tunnel vision. They panic and they miss things. The award-winning author told Fox News Digital. So maybe they think that he left the sheath accidentally. So here was Kohberger, who almost committed the perfect murders, except he had tunnel vision, Patterson shared. He left the knife sheath. There you go. See? And that's what ultimately led to his arrest. Okay, well, I think it's worse if he left it there intentionally, because then it means that he tried to commit the perfect murder. He thought he cleaned it so well, and he just missed that one spot on the underside of the button snap. I'm going to stick with that. I think it's either way, but that's my opinion. Patterson, who has sold more than 425 million books. Man, he must be a billionaire. Published over 260 New York Times bestsellers and won 10 Emmy Awards, has teamed up with investigative journalist Vicky Ward to write a new book, The Idaho 4, An American Tragedy, which is also a producer on the new Prime Video docuseries One Night in Idaho. Thanks, Linda Howe. How's it going? One Night in Idaho, College Murders of the Cattle Mutilations in Crop Circles, Linda Howe, which is based on the book several loved ones of the victims spoke out in the film. I bet you he's not writing much anymore. Kohberger, a former Washington State University criminology PhD student, pleaded guilty on July 2nd to killing 4 University of Idaho students on November 13, 2022, as part of a deal with prosecutors to escape the death penalty. The 30-year-old faces 4 consecutive life sentences for fatally stabbing 21-year-old Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gonzalez. Usually, what's weird is, what order in your head do you usually say it? I usually say Madison Mogen, I think I might even say, well, it's always random for me, though. I mean, sometimes I want to say Xander Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez. Or Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Ethan Chapin, Xander Kernodle. For the book, Patterson and Ward conducted more than 300 interviews and took a deep dive into Kohberger's upbringing. You know, it's amazing. She looks so much like her daughter. I mean, it's like you can totally see Madison in her mother. He was inappropriate. He didn't know how to socialize very well, Patterson explained. He was a teaching assistant, and he was just turning people off. He graded the women poorly. He had an inability to deal with women, yet he thought he was popular. It was a thought of, why aren't these people, these women loving him? Hey, look at that, 67 months for Linda Howell. And if you guys are out there, if you can, I don't know if you heard what I said a minute ago, but if you could please help support the channel, allows us to keep doing these shows on a nightly basis. Thank you very much. He graded the woman poorly. He had an inability to deal with women, yet he thought he was popular. That's sort of like Elliot Rodger. It was a thought of, why aren't these women loving him? See? Because he found himself very worthy. See, that's exactly Elliot Rodger. And in this documentary, most of this comes out. I don't know why I thought of Elliot Rodger on December 25th, 2022, though. Like, why did I do that live stream? That's pretty weird. You know? I mean, it was just sort of like a thought, like, oh man, the killer might be an incel type. According to the book and docuseries, Kohberger may have been inspired by one killer, Elliot Rodger. The 22-year-old was obsessed with exacting retribution after experiencing what he claimed was a lifetime of social and sexual isolation. In 2014, Rodger killed 6 people in a stabbing and shooting spree in Isla Vista, California, before turning the gun on himself. No one knows. Yeah, so that was weird. I mean, I think that's what Adam Lanza did too. Took his own life. No one knows that like Rodger, Brian. Let's see. No one knows that like Rodger, Brian is a virgin who hates women. No one knows that like Rodger, Brian. I don't know. That sounds like that's like a ridiculous quote there. I mean, what is that? No one knows that. No one knows that like Rodger, Brian is a virgin. What? The book claimed, no one knows that Brian copes with loneliness by immersing himself in video games. Like Rodger, he goes for night drives. Like Rodger, he visits the gun range. And like Rodger, he goes to a local bar and tries to pick up women. Yeah, there was some one where I remember the things about Rodger, these different stories. Or I think he tells them in his manifesto, actually. That's right. Elliot Rodger wrote that he kept trying to place himself in settings where he could pick up women. The book continued, but no one noticed him. Thanks, Mustang Sally. Brian must think that surely he'll be noticed. Women must spot his looks, his intelligence, and they must want him. So the other night we played, I've had the videos since this happened. Like he had a YouTube channel that had these videos that he posted on there, and I downloaded them all really quick after this took place in 2014, so I still have them. And we played him on the show the other day. He's crazy. Now, we know we don't know all the evidence that there is. Yeah, I mean, Leon, who said we didn't? There was other blood on the knife sheath. Yeah, we just found out recently, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there was Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez's blood was on the sheath. the only single source of DNA that they found was on the underside of the button snap. So that still opens the door that he could have left it there intentionally. He just got blood on it because that's where he was. But he knew that he had it cleaned, he thought. He just missed the spot. I know you guys don't want to believe it or not, but and the thing is we may never actually know the answer to that question, because even now if you asked him and the truth was that he left the sheath intentionally, he might not admit it because it makes him look like an idiot. Like he intentionally left it there thinking he outsmarted everybody by cleaning it, but he missed that little spot on the underside of the button snap. So he wouldn't want to admit that, so he would probably find it more acceptable that in the battle it kind of fell off and it's not his fault. You know, he's not going to let it be his fault, right? Patterson pointed out that at the Seven Sirens Brewing Company, that was the one in Pennsylvania, Kohberger would push his way into unwanted conversations with female bartenders and patrons. He went as far as asking for their addresses. Some women, according to the book, started complaining to the brewery owner about the creepy guy with the bulging eyes. Yeah, I don't know if they're, I wouldn't call them bulging. They're just sort of glaring, you know. Kohberger was adamant that women would notice him, but Patterson noted that to many he was simply off-putting. He made people uncomfortable. Kohberger was adamant that women would notice him, but Patterson noted that to many he was simply off-putting. He made people, well, it's weird because he had that one girl that actually liked him, it sounds like, in Pullman, but she wasn't. I mean, I think that Korean girl Ko, she's very pretty, the one that wanted to go out, you know, thought he was cute or whatever, you know, or whatever it was, that she was interested in him, you know, but that's not what he wanted. He wanted blonde, like the classic blonde girl. You know, that's what's weird about this to me. It's like he just got so focused on one particular look. Hey, thanks, Michelle H. Man, really struggling tonight, you guys. His eyes change in his grad photo. I think he killed when he was young. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think there's any evidence, nor is there. I don't think even most of the doctors think he killed anybody in his life prior. None of the experts or anything. I think this is his first time. He just wanted to do it perfectly. That's why he was taking the classes and doing his little interviews, because he wanted to see, you know, do it right the first time. I don't know what that means, but she wasn't a Stacy. Oh yeah, you mean Stacy's like a blonde type. No, but he doesn't have, I don't know if he necessarily has champagne taste. It's like it's a blonde, like it's just, I mean, I know what you're saying. It's like you know, brunettes and blondes and any redheads or whatever, they're all just as pretty, you know. It's just, and, you know, Asian people, black women, there's pretty, gorgeous people, and all of them. Does anybody think Halle Berry's ugly? Probably not. Yeah, so they, I mean, it's crazy. So he was just like, I just want a blonde, because everybody said blondes, you know, like he probably thought somebody that's blonde somehow is the ultimate hotness or something. And he deserves that. And I just, what an idiot for thinking that. A shun. What's a shun? Did you do that? Speak into your phone or something? Hmm. So Kohberger was adamant that women would notice him. But Patterson noted that to many he was simply off-putting. He made people uncomfortable, said Patterson. The bartender and owners remembered him as being this weird duck who would sit at a bar and just weird everybody out and talk inappropriately. He had a lot of trouble socializing. And I actually ordered this book. I have the audio version, so when I'm doing my walking around, it'll show up. How come those comments are being... If he just wants... I don't know why those are being removed, but maybe YouTube's removing them. So according to the book, Kohberger felt that by going to Moscow, Idaho, across the state border, he could find a girl willing to date him. I mean, what would make him think that going across the border to Moscow he could find somebody, but not in Pullman? I don't understand. He read about a place called the Mad Greek, where they sell vegan pizza. He's vegan. When he walked inside, he noticed a blonde waitress, Maddie Mogan. I mean, this. How do we know this, you know? I mean, that has to be speculation because there's no way to know the answer to that. It's been speculated by sources who spoke to Patterson that Mogan rejected Kohberger. See, but speculated by sources. You know, and everybody, you know, that's one of the things that's been out there. Oh, did he go into the Mad Greek, etc. I haven't got it yet. I just said that. I ordered it. I ordered the audio version. That's not out yet. I think it comes out tomorrow, actually. The book pointed out an eerie similarity. It's been speculated by sources who spoke to Patterson that Mogan rejected Kohberger. The book pointed out an eerie similarity. Elliot Rodger wrote of reuniting with a childhood friend named Maddie. So let's take a look at... I haven't even looked at it yet because it gets boring if you do that. Oh, look at God, that's so weird. I was scrolling around, and the first thing I saw when I looked over was that name, Maddie. I mean, that's so weird to do that. Huh, that's crazy. I just happened to open it up and... Let's see. Is that the only time it shows up? Alright, the first real friend I made in the United States was a girl named Maddie. I mean, that's pretty wild. So maybe he found the name Maddie and then found out she worked at the Mad Greek even. Isn't that ironic? This is Elliot Rodger. Okay. Isn't it ironic? The first friend I made in the United States was a girl. She was the first female friend I've ever had, and she would be the last. Maddie and I started playing together at farm school, and eventually my parents became very good friends with her parents became very good friends with my parent, or the other, vice versa, whatever. Their parents became friends. Maddie's father is the famous British musician Paul Humphreys, and her mother is named Maureen, though he would call her Mo. They had a nice house in Hidden Hills. Our families got together often to have barbecues. No, that's not what I was trying to do. I always enjoyed family get-togethers with Humphreys. These get-togethers became a common occurrence in my life. Maddie became a very close friend of mine. She was the only friend from farm school I continued to see after I graduated. I was sad to leave our house in Woodland Hills. I was actually born in Woodland Hills. Our first house in America. I would miss the good times I had there, playing with Maddie and my other friends, swimming in the pool, the close proximity to Sarania Park, where I spent a lot of time enjoying the elations of a careless childhood. And then, let's see, what is this part? This is the part where I just stumbled upon when I came in. My last memory of my parents being together was my 7th birthday, and I would always cherish it. We didn't have a party for my 7th birthday, but more of a small get-together for lunch. Maddie and the Humphreys were our only guests. We celebrated it at Gladstone. And then it's down here on page 13 again. Girls were the last thing on my mind. Maddie was still the only friend I had who was a girl, and I only saw her on occasions when our families would have a get-together, which became more and more rare after Maddie's parents divorced. Huh. So the one female friend he had. On a rare occurrence that my mother would have Maddie and Mo over for dinner, or it would go to visit them. I mean, it's weird how her name is throughout this entire thing. I mean, not entire thing, but a large portion of it. Hey, thanks, Paul. Says, hey, did you ever listen to the... From the neighbor's house? Yeah, that's garbage. Yeah, that's a fake thing, Paul. That's not a real audio. Alright, let's see. Would go to visit them at their house. Maddie often played with my little sister. Wow, I mean, her name's all the time. Now it's on page 34. Mother had a party at her house, and a lot of family friends came over, including Maddie and her mom. I had a great time during the party. James and Maddie were the last ones to leave. Now we're on page 64 out of 141. Maddie Humphrey and her mother came over. Seeing Maddie for the first time in 6 years was very peculiar experience. The last time we saw each other, we were just kids. Now, yeah, see, the problem with him is when he was a kid, I was actually wondering if this was going to come up in here. See, when he was a kid and he was hanging out with this girl named Maddie, Elliot Roger, he probably, even though he was weird, it seemed normal to Maddie. But now that they're adults, she would now notice if he was weird like he is. I mean, he's a strange person. So let's see if it says that. To my surprise, Maddie Humphrey, last time, seeing Maddie for the first time in 6 years was a very peculiar experience. The last time we saw each other, we were just kids. Now she was a fully grown teenage girl, and from looking through her Facebook pictures, wow, I knew she was popular. She was the typical pretty girl who had lots of pretty friends. She was one of them, and one of the popular kids. My first friend in America, somehow I played with innocently as a child, had grown up to represent the type of people who have caused me so much pain in my life. Wow, look at that. So the one friend that he had, this is probably, that's crazy. So the one friend that he had growing up has now turned into one of the people that he despises. She was one of them, one of the popular kids. My first friend in America, somehow I played with innocent as a child, had grown up to represent the type of people who have caused me so much pain in my life. I was very nervous talking to her, as I had no experience with talking to young girls, but I had to make the effort. She seemed weirded out by my awkward... There you go, look at, see, I just told you that. She was weirded out by his awkwardness. I was cringeworthy. While staying at the beach house, I invited Philip and Addison over to hang out as, you know, so anyways, let's continue on there with her. Yeah, so that's not a. I don't think that's a real audio. I mean, people at the beginning of this case were doing all kinds of. Oh, are you talking about the audio in the special? Yeah, that's real audio, but he doesn't say Ethan. There's no Ethan help me in there. People claim all kinds of stuff, and then you hear it because it's like, you know, it sounds like this. Hey, Allah, hey, Allah. No, actually, it's like this. Oh, at a hut. Ethan, help me. Ethan, help me. Hear it? Come on. Oh, hey, Ethan, help me. Did you hear it? It sounded right there. I heard it. That's how they do it. They just take some audio and they tell you what it says, and then everybody says, yeah, that's what it says. Okay? And that's how they get clicks and views, etc. But hey, guys, if you're watching the show, if you're out there, if you could please help support the channel, I would really appreciate it. We are getting close to the middle of the month and just trying to keep the ball rolling. We're currently at 1/20th of a nightly goal. For some reason tonight, it's just... So pretend that I'm like you're at Starbucks, you bought a coffee or something, and you're supporting my channel as a large bucket of coffee. We have 0 new channel memberships tonight. We have no coffees. We have nothing other than 1/20th of the nightly goal. All right, so please consider supporting the channel. I don't know what makes tonight different than any other night, but as you can see, it's been a disastrous start to the show. All right, let's go. Keep going. See if she pops up again. Now she's on page 66. I had to go to Christmas. I had to go Christmas shopping, and I decided to do it at the Calabasas Commons. I was always going there anyways. While walking around, I ran into Maddie, who was there with her boyfriend. Oh man, this must have really... For some strange reason, I have never had any sexual attraction towards Maddie. Okay, despite the fact that she's a blonde girl. See how he just throws blonde in there? Like, that's the only thing he's attracted. She's a blonde girl, and I'm obsessed with blondes. He even admits it. Perhaps it was because she used to be my friend when we were children. I don't know. Because I wasn't attracted to her. I didn't find myself feeling as much jealousy as one might think. I would, as one might think I would in such a situation. It was still very awkward. I just said hello to her quickly and walked away. Now on page 75. During the remaining days of 2010, I joined my mother and sisters at Jack's beach house in Malibu to spend a few nights. They arrived there a few hours before me, and by the time I reached the house, they had already invited a few guests for an afternoon get-together. To my outrage, I saw that Mother had invited Maddie and her boyfriend. I was looking forward to having another respite at the beautiful Malibu mansion where I can indulge myself in opulence and forget about my depressing loneliness. Let's see, down here it says, I was left out of most of the conversations like I always was, so I just sat there quietly sipping my wine as I had to bear listening to Maddie talk about how awesome her life was. I excused myself as soon as I finished eating, and boy did I stuff myself on that meal. Okay. Anybody have an answer? What's going on in here tonight? It's really wild. And his name is Kohberger, not Kohbergers. Haven't talked about Kohberger's tell-all interview in November. Yeah. What's 600K? That's egregious. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Did we mention something in here? I didn't see that. Yeah, you got about 2 more minutes on this channel, Klepto. You're not interesting, and you say a lot of stupid shit. Yeah, we went over that last night. We don't know if that's a true story or not. I haven't seen any backup yet. And apparently it's a network, not a cable channel, which A&E is. So we're going to have to wait and see what the answer is. I haven't seen any articles other than the one that's out there. Yeah, you're going to hear it on all kinds of YouTube channels. That's how they... Yeah, right, the same guys over and over and over again. They don't have the answer. Okay, klepto? Right. They always pretend that they have the answers, but they don't. If it was a real story, it would have been on headlines on every single main network on Google, right? So that was pretty interesting a minute ago, right? That, yeah, man. So he... Let me go back. Where was that? Yeah. So she was creeped out by him later, his awkwardness. And it fit exactly what I was saying. That later in life, she noticed his awkwardness. I ended up walking for 2 hours, and at the end of it, I was crying to myself because I felt so sad. When I returned to the house, Maddie and her boyfriend had left, and so did most of the guests. The only guests who remained were my mother's friends. Towards the end of the month, this is later on, getting near the end. Towards the end of the month, my mother invited Maddie and Mo Humphreys over for dinner. Mother had recently been reconnecting with her old friends. Maddie had just graduated from USC, a university renowned for its abundance of spoiled, bratty students who partied all the time, very similar to UCSB. I often call USC the University of Spoiled C-word, just like I call UCSB the University of California Spoiled Brats. Hey, thanks, Jessica Schubach. Let's see. Brilliant, a fitting nickname before Maddie came. I stalked her Facebook for a bit and saw that she was the exact image of everything I hated in women. She was a popular, spoiled USC girl who partied with her hot, beautiful, blonde-haired clique friends. All of them looked like absolute C-word, and my hatred for them all grew from each picture I saw of her profile. They were the kind of beautiful, popular people who lived pleasurable lives and would look down on me as inferior scum. Never accepted me as one of them. They were my enemies. They represented everything that was wrong with the world. Maddie was my first friend in America as a child. I played with her as an equal. Now she was my enemy. I would take great delight in torturing and flaying her and every single one of her spoiled, obnoxious, evil friends. You can tell, I mean, that's exactly how he talks. When she and her mother came to eat dinner with us, I had to keep calm as I hobbled out of my room on my crutches to greet them. That relaxing month at Mother's was like comfort before the storm. Once I got back to Santa Barbara, fully recovered, the final dark chapter of my life will commence. Wow, so isn't that weird? I mean, that's kind of weird if Kohberger actually read this and then looked for somebody named Maddie. I mean, that would be a crazy psychological... I mean, if like, for example, if he is Papa Roger, if Papa Roger is Brian Kohberger, then obviously Brian Kohberger read this manifesto, and Maddie is like a theme throughout it. And then even at the end, he hates Maddie. And then he sort of think like, man, wouldn't that be weird if he looked for somebody with that name in Moscow? And then, I mean, it's pretty weird. It's not even out of the realm of, it's not even a crazy speculative thought. Mm-hmm. Maddie was my friend first in America. All right, so let me go on to the, see if it shows up one more time. No. So that was the last time it showed up, and that's on page 126 of 141. And then I think he then gets into his day of retribution. So, anyways, there you go. Oh, sorry. But hey, guys, we're now almost an hour into the show, and we're currently only at 1/12 of just a normal nightly goal. So if you're out there and you have the ability to support the channel, I would appreciate it. So anyways, it says, Elliot Roger wrote of reuniting with childhood friend named Maddie in the months before the day of retribution. And it says she was a popular, spoiled USC girl. Man, I'm not sure what's going on with my phone. It's just going off the hook. Now, she was a popular, spoiled USC girl who partied. Yeah, we went through that. When asked if we'll ever know Kohberger's true motives for committing the murders, Patterson replied, "Oh, I think we already do." I think he had decided that Maddie, you could see it when you went by the house. See, I told you guys, didn't I? That's when I changed my mind 2 years ago. When I went out to the crime scene. The goal, usually on each of these shows, if the low end of the goal, if we get to 250, then I donate 5 memberships myself. But I try not to have a goal like that, because that doesn't allow us, even if that was the number, we wouldn't be able to donate anything at the end of the month if that was it. Because if you multiply that times 30, then you're at like 6,000, and then have to pay taxes and can't do it. So I just tell you guys, when we're nearing there, I wish there wasn't a goal number, because people, when they get to the goal, it stops, and then there isn't the really good night where it makes up for the other ones. All right, but I'm trying to figure out. Can you guys type in the comments what makes tonight different? Right? I don't understand, like tonight is just like almost unbelievably poor. I mean, we're having another one. I just talked to you guys about this the other day, you know? Yeah. See, if you do 250, YouTube takes 30%, and then you get like 190, right? And then if you multiplied 190 times 30, that's 5,000 something, right? And then then I get taxed 25%, and so then there's no donations that we're able to make. I have to do videos, get ad revenue, and I need you guys to support the channel during the month, and then we can make it. But tonight we're at $22.62. Don't understand. Yeah. I have not followed. Yeah, that's why you shouldn't talk about it, Klepto. If you haven't followed it, then just sit around, listen, and quit commenting over and over and over and over and over again. It's getting old. Yeah. I just don't get it, man. Yeah. And it's pretty bad, you know. It's not hard to do it. Like if you have 250 people, it's $1. You know, it's like it's not a big deal. Yeah. Right. I think he had decided that Maddie, you could see it when you went by the house. Yeah, so let me open up a different one. Hold on. Thanks, John Dunn. Interesting look into the killer. Yeah, well, you guys should go back and watch. I made a video back in our live stream on December 25th, 2022, about a week before Kohberger was arrested, on, you know, is the killer somebody like Elliot Rodger? Now, if I was a psychic, wouldn't I have been good at it? Like, wouldn't I have been able to say, look how good of a psychic I am? And if you notice too, the person who asked me what the goal is never shows up on the show. They're just from the troll community. They wanted to ask. Never seen them before in my life. Yeah. All right. So when I went out there a while, like, you know. And this is December of 2023, so almost getting close to 2 years ago, right before they tore it down. And this is what I would always say: he'd park like right there. I think he would park here on different nights, and from there you could look right through Madison's room, see right in there. See, easily see in there. Thanks, Sandy. Yeah, it's hard to. It's hard to reach the goals. You were the first one, Gray. I don't know. Yeah, I was. But now everybody's pretending that they're discovering something. It's bizarre, you know. Anyways, so right there, and you could see in there. And I remember after this trip, that's when I shifted over. I go, no, Madison Mogan, she was the target. And it had nothing to do with what people were saying or anything. It's just, it seemed obvious at that point because Kaylee wasn't supposed to be there. And from right around here, even if you drive all the way to the edge there, it's still an angle to see into Kaylee's room. If you park right over there or over here, you can see right into Madison's room. And I think she was the target after I was there. Do you guys remember me even saying that? Like, man, you guys, like, you see right into her room from here. I think she was the target. Thanks, Dixie Hippie. Ah, man, that sucks. You had to put your 16-year-old rat terrier to sleep. Yeah, it sounds like it. 16 years. That's, you know, it's a long time. Sucks having to put a dog to sleep. All right, back to this. So let's just start that paragraph over. I think he had decided that Maddie, you could see it when you went by the house. You could see her room. See, I told you, this is exactly what wording that I used. Her name was up in the window. Never said that, but of her room. We think it seems like he went there to deal with her. It seems fairly obvious. Will we know more? Thanks, Paulette and Cynthia Gomez. I don't know. If he wants to be interviewed at this stage, I'm happy to go there and do an interview. And I've done that before. People who've gone to prison and they decide that all of a sudden they want to talk. Yeah. Hold on. I don't know where the troll went from earlier. Yeah, we're currently still at like 1/9/8 of the goal, so. Oh, that's the troll. There you go. There. Thank you for letting me know. No, you must be a troll, Rabbit. People ask those kind of questions. I don't care. I don't care, Rabbit. Right? You know, and that's the same kind of stuff that they do, though. All right, so I don't feel bad. If you're not a troll, then you're not a troll. Then all you have to say is, no, Gray, I was just saying that. Instead, your response proved to me that you were a troll. All right, so thank you. Can you do show about similarities of the Lincoln? No, I can't. Yeah, I already know all that this stuff. Yeah, they both had the same, press secretary, the different names, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I remember going to Farrell's, an ice cream shop, and it said that. Yeah. How can BK try and commit the perfect murder yet not know there's cameras on the dang? Well, because he didn't, he knew he was changing his plates, and he was using a white Elantra, just driving around. You know what I think? I don't think he knew. I think he surveilled that neighborhood, even during the daytime, and he just didn't see. He saw that there was no cameras anywhere, and even at the 1112 King Road house. Hey, thanks, Dirt Bike Pastrana. And that was an actual camera. It was a camera on the in a light, so it looked like a light fixture, and he didn't know that that was a surveillance camera. Doesn't that seem more likely? Yeah. Both Lincoln and JFK were preceded by a Johnson. And by the way, and the thing is for the rabbit up there, you asked that question, and I answered it normally, and then 10 minutes later I said, yeah, that's probably a troll, and what relevance did it have me answering your question? It's just crazy. These people, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. YouTube is just a crazy place. There's too many people out there that are bad actors. Yeah, he didn't know that that was a camera. And you can see it right here. I'll show you. I mean, it looks exactly the same. So if I go to right there, maybe here. See, that's what it was. It looked like a light bulb. It looked just like that one and that one. That's all it was. And he probably just thought it was a light and didn't. He probably looked all around. There's no other cameras around here. If you go back, maybe up, let's see. In here, there's no cameras under there. People thought that there were cameras there. They make little videos telling you that there are, but there absolutely are no cameras along any of these places. And, I mean, he just, in his mind, got unlucky. I tell people this. If that camera didn't exist, this would be it would have been a much worse case without this 11-12 King Road camera. It's absolutely huge. I mean, without that camera, you do have the shot at 1330, but it's a crappy shot of the Elantra, other than the time it does the 3-point turn. But when it drives back behind 500 Queen Road back there, you can only see like the top of it when it comes around. And without 1112, you wouldn't know that that was part of the same sequence each time. Circumstantially, it has to be the same vehicle based on the footage that we know of. You have this white Elantra drive by, and then exactly when it should, it goes behind 500 Queen Road on 1330 Linda Lane, and then the headlights hit the top of 1127, and then the vehicle does not leave, it sits in there. Then it exits after a certain amount of time, and you pick it up again on the same camera. So without that camera, you wouldn't know what that vehicle was driving back there. You might be able to try to imply that that's what it was, but now we know it's a white Elantra because it's all timed together on that camera. See? All right, we are currently at 1/6 of the goal now. 1/6. We have 0 channel membership gifting tonight. What happened with that? All right, so this is I think that's Kohberger's house, or that's his childhood home, located about 10 minutes north of Pleasant Valley High School, where he graduated. Past acquaintances describe Kohberger as frustrated by females, and even sexist as a result. Well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what Elliot Rodger is, right? I mean, Elliot Rodger is probably the most sexist person on the planet, right? That's not true, chickbait. I know you want to say that, but and why do you keep telling the same story every time when you come in here? I didn't ask you. Let's see. Thank you. There is a gifted membership by Dirk Bite Pastrana, and Michelle H. gifted a membership. Thank you. Let's see. People can teach classes about what not to do while committing crime. I think if he surveilled and that was the only camera, because think about that. There is that only that camera. Did he actually look for that in picking Maddie, or did he just realize, okay, wow, there's no surveillance, so I can just go in there, because he didn't notice the one that was in the light? I don't know what that means, chickbait. Hey, thanks, John Dunn. Gifted a membership to Zoe 499. So thank Dirk Bite Pastrana, Michelle H, and John Dunn. Melissa Petrov. Yeah? Huh. Wild. I'm right in the middle of this one, though. Now that girl? Yeah. Huh. Well, she probably just wanted to keep running away. Obviously, she wasn't in trouble the first time, Hey, thank you, Atticrat 7270. Pretty much everybody we talked to just said, this is a strange man. Let me go back up here. It says, he also appeared to be well versed in incels, or involuntary celibates. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me go back. One woman who met Kohberger on Tinder date several years ago claimed on social media that her interaction with him was so awkward she pretended to vomit just to get him to leave her apartment. He also appeared to be very well versed in incels, or involuntary celibates. I'm not really sure what that means. Like, how does that, very well versed by this girl notice that? I'll check it out later. But yeah, sounds like that girl just wanted to run away, And her first time, she was never even in danger or anything. It's just like, what was she doing? Pretty much everybody we talked to just said, this is a strange man with a strange look. Couldn't look people in the eye, said Patterson. If he did look at you in the eye, sometimes people wished that he hadn't. And his impression of himself was totally out of whack with the way other people perceived him. The book describes Kohberger as having once expressed an offensive, anachronistic view of gender roles, and following the murders, he may have viewed himself as a criminal mastermind. There's Ramsland right there. Dr. Kathleen Ramsland speaks about Dennis Rader. All right, well, we did get 4 new memberships there. Anybody else wants to get some of those? That'd be great. We're currently now at 1/4, or 1/4. I don't know if it's 1/4, 23% of the goal or something like that. All right. So the book describes Kohberger as having once expressed an offensive, anachronistic view of gender roles. And then it said he may have viewed himself as a criminal mastermind. Moscow, Idaho was overwhelmed by the gravity of his heinous crimes and the public scrutiny that came with it. You've got not only the murders here, but all of a sudden you've got press from around the world in this small town, Patterson explained. And that's an image from the documentary that just came out. You've got all these rumors. One of the things in the book, and one of the saddest things that we discovered in the documentary, is the way that this stuff gets picked up by these true crime people, some of whom are vampires. They're awful. They don't care. They don't take responsibility for their actions. And when you write a book or do a documentary, you have to be responsible for it. And we were responsible. Well, I treat true crime like he's saying they do. I don't do it like this up here. That's what you see on all these other channels. Whatever sounds cool and neato to do or say, that's what they say daily. You know, it just sucks. Even ones that you wish you could respect, they're the same way, you know. And it could have been that tunnel vision. Why does it start like that? Like a sentence, so does it continue? I don't know. It's weird how this sort of, and it continues, like that's not related to this paragraph up here. So I don't know. And it could have been that tunnel vision Kohberger had that reportedly made him believe he wouldn't get caught. Dr. Ramsland teaches her students that killers get tunnel vision when they are committing murder, the book shared. That's why mistakes get made. Amid the high adrenaline and hyper-focus on the act itself, killers can forget things they otherwise would not. And Kohberger's family isn't to blame, said Patterson. Maybe each one of these is just like a new section. And Kohberger's family isn't to blame, said Patterson. I think from everything we can gather, his parents did their best, said Patterson. They seem to have done their best with him. Kohberger's guilty plea doesn't end the quest to seek more answers. Hey, thanks, Alan McMahon, for getting a membership to Simdjabj. Simdj. I can't pronounce that one, I'm sorry. Simdjbabi. Anyways, let's see. Kohberger guilty plea doesn't end the quest to seek more answers. Look, people talk, said Patterson. When you're in a big city like New York, you're kind of used to, unfortunately, to violence. But you've got these two college towns, Moscow, Idaho, and Pullman, Washington, and they don't know what to make of this. It's a story of these families and these kids, and to some extent the documentary, it will make you afraid. It will certainly make you feel that it was like to be in those towns during this period, what it was like the next day, the shock, the fear. Yeah, I mean, you know what sucks? Is law enforcement. I mean, even Fry, the guy that originally gave those press conferences, even in the first press conference, he says he should have came forward earlier, because he just let everybody feel scared and nobody knew what the hell was going on, and it's just been terrible. So it's crazy. It's ridiculous. It will certainly make you feel what it was like to be in those towns during this time. It was a hard case to solve, he reflected. Investigators were very fortunate that Kohberger made that one really big blunder. Yeah, so it's a blunder even if he left it there intentionally, that he didn't clean it well enough. And the reason I say, as I've said 100 times, that he intentionally left it there is because he was really into all the cool things that serial killers do, and he wanted to make sure he had one of those. A calling card. He didn't make a lot of mistakes, so it was a tough investigation. He might have never been caught. We might be writing about God knows what right now. One Night in Idaho is now available for streaming. The Fox News Digital, Michael Ruiz. Let's see, I did learn something new from this article, although it's very possible been reported earlier. I didn't realize that Maddie had her name on her window. Even for a child, I try not to be obvious to onlookers. After all the mistakes he made, they should, if they already have not, look at other areas he lived. Yeah, I don't know. I think most people don't think he killed before. I think it's just something that people want to believe because it makes it a more, we can look at something else, you know. Or Hope does another trial about something else, you know. And I guess that would be something that would be interesting. If there was another homicide, and then since he's admitted this one, it can be brought up, prior bad acts. And then would they get into the details in that other trial with another person? So I guess we could all hope that, that some other victim that was already out there was one of his. Then we can, if he goes to trial for that one, but he'd probably just plead guilty anyways because, as long as it didn't have the death penalty attached to it. Mm-hmm. Maybe something minor only killer knows, not a Hyundai Elantra or a video. Huh? I don't know what that means. That doesn't even make sense. All right. Well, that was the article that I wanted to go over. Yeah, I've said that many times on here. I think that the case is stronger if you only could have one thing. If you had the knife sheath with no DNA on it and the Elantra video, it's stronger than the knife sheath with Kohberger's DNA on it and no Elantra video at all. Okay? That case would be really easy for an attorney to go, his DNA is on there, but other than that, I mean, if they'd found him, then they'd realize that he ordered. So what law enforcement would have would be stuff like his phone turned off. All law enforcement would have, if the DNA was on the knife sheath, and there was no Elantra video, would be that he turned his phone off, and then eventually they'd find that he purchased a K-bar knife, in March, and then a balaclava, and then, but how do you place him? I mean, you place him there because there's DNA on the sheath, but at the same time, that's where the touch DNA argument would be much stronger. Like, well, but in this case, the white Elantra combined with the DNA in the knife sheath and that he purchased it is overwhelming to the fact that it is him there at that time. There isn't some weird transfer that happened in another place. And Kohberger admits it, so now, but that's what I think. I think you could still make a really strong circumstantial case even if the without the DNA on the sheath. I mean, it'd be incredible. Like you have the knife sheath there, you have all the surveillance showing a white Elantra missing a plate driving around, then you find that he purchased one in March, a knife sheath, a balaclava in January, he turned his phone off at this time, etc., 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 and where's his knife sheath now? He tried to purchase one, etc. I mean, so you can make this incredibly strong case without the DNA on the knife sheath. Having the knife sheath there is important, though, because that's something that he purchased, an item just like it, and it's in the house. So that's important. If you didn't leave the sheath there, let's say he committed the homicide and he left without the sheath there. I mean, then it's like you come down, then it's still something that you could make a case out of, even without the sheath, right? Because then he would have been found later when reviewing that they would have found the Elantra once they've changed it to 2014 to 16. Then Kohberger's vehicle from the Pullman officers would match, and so they would have been able to find his name. And then when they found his name, they'd see that his phone was turned off at 2:54 and then turned back on at 4:48 south of Blaine, or south of Moscow near Blaine. So that would be like, okay, wow, that's very intriguing that he did that. That's crazy. And then all of a sudden they see this, the white Elantra is what led to him, so they know that he has a white Elantra. And then it turns out that he drives a white Elantra that's missing a front license plate because he's from Pennsylvania. They don't require them. So now they have the Ridge Road footage, and they'd say, well, look, a vehicle matching his description is in the area, and it goes to the residence and literally parks for the exact amount of time that the homicides took place. And then it drives away at a high rate of speed. And so I think you could make, and then then he purchased a K-bar knife in March and a balaclava in January, and you'd still be able to make a strong case there. It'd just be very circumstantial. Right. So anyways, you guys, we're currently still at 1/4 of the goal. So if you're not even a quarter, but if you're out there, if you could please help support the channel, that would be awesome. Well, there are cases where it's best to look at all angles. This case was exactly as Gray investigated. Gray had all this together as a long time ago. That's right. I can't even tell you. Like, nothing's really. Well, things have gotten worse for him. Like, we have more timeline or surveillance footage timeline information. And now we know exactly what direction he was going each time he would leave, etc. The dude is disturbed, but the recollection of information from people who know him or had any contact with him, yeah, he was an oddball, yeah. But most of you guys have seen the special that could see it, so I thought part 1 and 2 were the best. Yeah, the case was never botched, newscaster. you're never really enjoyable to have around, I've noticed. It's just sort of a, you know, every time you try to get kind of, what do you call it, like, you try to be edgy with your little comments, and they're never right, you know? You know, you would hope with a name like that you'd be accurate sometimes, but it just isn't so. We need to make Haley, Maddie, Zan, and Ethan honorary freaks forever. Sure, but how do you do that? And we don't have 940 people watching. We probably have maybe 300, maybe 280. It's another one of the Bart Simpson look things going on here. Yeah, Robin. Alan McMahon is a pro-burger, I hate to stop the sentence there, but a pro-burger observer. He goes around and he's the one that analyzes them, and he just is shocked and dismayed. He's our resident pro-burger expert who watches them not for interesting content, but merely for the craziness of it all. But what do I need to do tonight, you guys, to get you guys to help support the channel? We're having one of those crazy nights tonight again. No, it's not. I just explained it to you, Teresa. It's just whatever's happening. Somebody might be putting bots on there or whatever. I don't really know. I've talked to YouTube about it. They said, no, it looks normal to us. I don't know what, but it's obviously not real because there's this little thing it does. It goes like the Bart Simpson haircut. It just doesn't even make any sense. No, he's fine, Robin. He's done the same thing every time he's been in here. He just must have missed all the shows when he was in here. Yeah, he even called in the other night too. Yeah, well, I think somebody's paying to do something. I don't know, but this is what it looks like every time. And I'll let you see the screen. Look how horrendous we're doing here tonight, you guys. You see that? And then right there, that's like, we're at $70 and $250 is the goal, all right? So we're just, I don't know what's happening, or I'm sorry my content was so shitty. All right, so we've got the, you know, it's, see right there, this isn't natural. You see that right there? That's natural. So it might have gone up like that. And so what this is going to do here is it's going to go like that, and then it's going to go all the way up here, and then it's going to do a couple more of these little little humps over here, and then it's going to shoot right back down to this level. I've seen it 100 times. All right. All right. So can you guys please help support the channel? Thank you. That was interesting, the Elliot Rodger stuff we were looking at. Yeah, that was that one, the one article that came out today. Said, I get knocked down, but I get up. Thanks, Dixie Hippie. Hey, Chickbait, can you start typing things that it makes sense? Thanks. No, they didn't botch it. They didn't botch the investigation at all. That's why they made an arrest in 6 weeks on a case that was very difficult. Right? I know that you want it to be that way because it's always cool to trash the cops. I think that what they did suck at was their communications with people, which is always a horrible thing that seems to happen. Thanks, Dixie Hippie and Mustang Salad. I don't think we've had one super chat or anything tonight above 5, which makes it really tough. But if everybody did 5, we'd kick ass, but Makes it really hard. Thank you, Carolina 12. Yeah, so what do you guys think the cops did wrong? Can anybody throw something out there? Let's talk about it. What was it that they did wrong? Anybody? Okay, well, not everybody knows him, Chick Bates, so just kind of, you know. You did well after you called in the other night. Now you've regressed back to the same old crap. It's scary how much someone can learn about you from a social media post. Yeah, which one is that? Allison. Is that the, you talking about Papa Rogers, Allison? With the sheath in that spot, I'm betting he's left-handed. That doesn't say if he's left or right where the sheath was found. It was found on the outer edge of the bed. I mean, I've got the in here, like in this one. I mean, that's where I just put the sheath. It's probably tucked underneath this. Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, none of us have a clue. Okay, but it's just going to be like either right there or in the middle, something like that. Oh, Jesus. Let's see. Yes, 100%. They didn't have a public relations officer, so the info was horrible. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was god-awful. And it continues to be god-awful. That's why they did the gag order. Yeah, they said 2011 to 2013. Right. Yeah, like last night on the show, we talked about how that was one of the things that was interesting in the new special was that 2011 to 2013 is what they originally put out. And then the Pullman, Washington WSU officers on the 29th who stumbled upon, after typing in, Elantras, when the Bolo came out, they came across Kohberger's vehicle in a 30-minute time frame. Two different officers came and looked at the same exact vehicle. And it turns out that, they put it in the system, but it was never forwarded to law enforcement and it was part of the case because it was a 2015. So unfortunately, those people went, oh, okay, so it's a 2015. They relied too heavily on the 2011 to 2013 original statement because they didn't have the Ridge Road video yet. Anyways, yeah, so they didn't move it forward to, hey, you guys, take a look at this, because it was a 2015, even though it was still in their system. Well, yeah, that is the truth, Alan. Yeah. That's the truth. Yeah, that's exactly right. But they probably do better than I do. That's probably why they're doing it. I mean, look at them. If I was a pro burger, I'd be doing much better tonight. But I wouldn't have, I would have no soul to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. We're still currently at, let's see, maybe a third now. Some of the reporting was bad, but the case was solved pretty fast. These are the kind of nights that the next day I'm nervous about the future. It's just like, my God, this is, Authorities don't have to give the information they have with all the craziness around. You know, but the more you give out, the less conspiracy people there are. Because then you narrow the conspiracy theorists' ability. So yeah, they don't have to do anything. But I think it's always better to, keep people more informed than not. I mean, there's no reason we couldn't know some of the timing stuff, of the Elantra, different things like that as we're going along. Yeah, once they started doing the updates, they were pretty good. They kept clearing people, but they also caused problems because for, like, Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, Jack, they didn't clear him. They said, we're aware of those phone calls. Remember? And then even the Gonzalez would say, yeah, they're looking into him, but that's ridiculous, right? And then finally they cleared him, and then boom. That was cleared, but it was weird how it was sort of like this list you could keep checking off. Yeah, well, why don't you guys support the non-conspiracy channels like mine? They did, Chickbait. I just told you they cleared him, Chickbait. Try to pay attention, Chickbait. I feel terrible for all the kids in the documentary. Yeah. No, there's the two Jacks. The one that was at the grub truck, and then Jack that was at the, the boyfriend of Kaylee. I mean, he was, the boyfriend of Kaylee was just sort of, it was an interesting concept at the beginning because you have this person who at 2:45 to 2:54 was wasn't answering calls from Kaylee and Maddie. And then you can come up with all kinds of scenarios of why that might be happening. See what I'm saying? Yeah. No, there's no chance in hell there was anybody else. Hey, all right, the highest one of the night. Thank you. Soundgarden fan. In my opinion, I think Murphy saved the other girls' lives with his barking. And then he wanted to leave quickly. That's a possibility, yeah. I mean, that might have sped him up a little bit. But I don't think he was going to kill the other two. He only killed... See, this is how I envision it working. And tell me what you think. So he goes upstairs to kill Madison Mogan. And Kaylee's in there. So then he attacks Madison first. And then Kaylee sort of hears it, wakes up and starts trying to... Hey, what's going on? And then then he's angry. He's really angry at Kaylee. That's why apparently he bashes her face in, because he ruined his plan. He might have wanted to spend some time with Madison first, right? Because here's how it was supposed to be. That Madison was supposed to be on that third floor all by herself, but she wasn't. So he got really angry and just pummeled Kaylee and killed both of them. And then the sound of that, with Xana being awake, using her TikTok, and had just ordered a DoorDash, is likely awake. And maybe that's when she was at the kitchen putting her bag in there, just like we have in there. And then she walks up and then, somehow encounters him. But she would still be alive too. Like, I think if Madison Mogan... And if Kaylee was not in Madison's bed and DoorDash wasn't delivered, that there would be only one homicide in this case. And I don't even know if it would have got the same attention out there, and yet it'd still be a crazy case of a serial killer. It just got bigger because he killed 4 students. But if he killed one, maybe it would have stayed local, but the FBI would be helping too, because they'd need help on the DNA stuff they're better at and all that. I think they all would have, the only person that would have died would have been Madison Mogen, and Ethan Chapin and Xana were like, oh, she saw him and likely would call 911 or something. So he killed her, and then he took out Ethan. And I think what he probably did was he, cut his neck artery, and then started cutting like on his legs, tendons and whatever, so that even if he woke up, he couldn't do anything. And then he got the hell out of there. All right. So, what do you think of that? No, nobody's typing, Teresa. That's one of the problems we have in here is nobody's typed. So yeah, it looks like it's frozen, but it isn't. An example of police mistake. No explanation for the other two. That's not a mistake. It's not a mistake at all. They just why do you need to test all of those things? The location of that material was not connected, and basically what they did was they got a DNA sample from a location that would highly likely indicate who the killer was. All right, so you're not going to sit around the house and swab the whole house and look. I bet you there was a whole bunch more DNA in there. That's what they got. Well, thanks, Soundgarden. I think your idea, though, is pretty good. I think it's why he got out of there quicker, and maybe why he didn't notice one of the girls, though. So I think that's a good thought that, the dog's barking, and he just wants to get the hell out of there now. I don't think he saw Madison Mogen, and somebody commented months ago, it was a good comment, that if he did see Madison Mogen, and he knows that she saw him, he likely would have got the hell out of there as quickly. Instead, he goes outside, and he's outside for 2 minutes or so, taking off his bloody stuff. But it could have been still he was going to do that. So I guess it's possible. The dog's barking and all this stuff. He may have seen Dylan, is what I meant to say a minute ago, if I said Madison. So he saw Dylan, and then he ran out the door anyways, because he had to get the hell out of there because of the barking, and it was just, I gotta go. And then when he goes outside, he quickly changes out of his clothes, and that's why he sped away at a high rate of speed. It could also be that he didn't see her, which I think is the reality. He was just quickly going out and turning, and her door was just cracked open a little bit. And he goes around the corner, goes outside, and he drives away at a high rate of speed, just because he's like freaking out that he's got to get the hell out of there, just because he just killed 4 people. And he gets out of there really fast, and then once he gets behind the house, he's safe from cops running into him because nobody's driving back there. Back here, I got to go to the right spot. That was my serial killer investigation. I'm looking at this one he was arrested, but I just wanted to look at it again. Let's see. Thanks, Dixie Hippie. Oh yeah, I'm totally in the wrong place. I mean, that's not it either. Where the heck is it? My map doesn't have anything open. I think it's like right in here. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so all this part back here is just back streets back in this neighborhood, and the police department is right here, I think. Hold on, let me put places on. Or is it right there? Wait, hold on, you're driving around. You're on... No, it's right there. There it is. Right here. If I remember right. Isn't that right? RMP. No, there it is right here. Moscow Police Department. Right there. Yeah, so when you're parked up here, you can see it. I mean, I actually, on my trip there, I parked right in there, and you're so close to the police department which is only from there 150 yards basically. And so when he's driving around, we were wondering if it's possible on when he was leaving, did he come here first and look over there? Because he knows, I mean, think how safe you would feel. As soon as you drive out of here, boom, you've scattered out. You're back here, you're safe. So once he got back here, he didn't have to drive fast anymore. He could just drive slowly. Then he drives over here, maybe, and checks to see if there's police activity leaving the police station, and there wasn't. So at that point, he just turns around, and see that little road there? That was not there at the time. Let me go back. See? That is July 2022. I don't think that was completed yet. And in April of 2023, it's there. I don't have anything in between. So. All right. Well, we're at 25% now. Or 33, I guess 34%. Hey, thanks, DRPIV. Ann Taylor knew if she drug it out of Chris Kringle, Thompson would cut a deal. Yeah. I tell you what, though. I mean, would anybody in here have any respect for Bill Thompson if part of the deal wasn't? I mean, would you have respect for him if he did not require Brian Kohberger and sort of like, that was part of their deal, but not in the written part, to sit down and tell him everything that happened and where the knife sheath is? Would you have any respect for him at all? Because I don't. If he didn't do that, I have no respect for him. I think that's just a terrible Bush League maneuver that did not help any of the family members get to feel like they get to know what happened. But also would have made sure that even if some stupid judge put back in his appeals that, wow, he knew where the knife sheath was, and if it ever went back to trial somehow, some way, that all that information would have been something he said. If he didn't do that, it's almost flabbergasting. Even what leverage did the defense have in that situation? Well, we'll just admit to doing it, but we're not going to say it. Other than that, we're not going to sign it. Okay, sign it. God damn. Have some balls, prosecutor. That's when you go, well, we're going to trial then. That's the thing, to me, that would have made, if I was a judge, I would not have accepted the deal if he wouldn't come forward and say what he did and where the knife sheath was. That's it. Right? That's the cutoff point. It's not just, oh, you're willing to sign it and admit that you did it. That's not it, man. You have to have the answers as well. And where is the knife? I think most people probably agree with that, I would think. Chris Kringle. That's funny. I was so looking forward to the trial. I had all those little the Jason masks and all that shit. Yeah, that would have been fun. We'd had the taco stomp. Yeah. But sometimes, who's Greg? Ah, jeez. Because they didn't know what it was, Robin. We've gone over it 100 times. We don't need to keep wondering why over and over and over again. It doesn't mean anything regarding the case whatsoever. It's not connected to the case. It's just some ancillary thing that happened on the side. Absolutely means nothing. So you can spend all the rest of your life wondering and wondering and wondering, and I won't care at all. He should have gone to trial unless he gave up something. Yeah, that's what I think. No, it wouldn't have saved anybody, Robin, if they'd called 911. Wouldn't have saved his soul. Yeah. And it would have created incredible trauma for Dylan and Bethany that night. They just didn't know what happened in there. We've gone over that like 100,000 times already. Let's see. A reporter needs to pose that very question. Yeah. Did you got him confessing to it, but did you get him to do a walkthrough of the case and how he planned it and how it all went down? Did you get him to do that? Well, no, we're not required to do that. He's not required to. We just, as long as he's admitting, shut the hell up. Get out of here. Right, then why'd you type it in, Robin? Yeah. It's just meaningless. And I didn't yell either. Did you notice how polite that was? And we already have the specific timeline. I mean, we don't... Her calling 911 wouldn't have made it any more specific of the timeline. She just would have called 911 instead of Bethany at 4, whatever time that was. 4:21 or something. No, not even then. It was like she called Bethany at 4:19. It was right at that time. I know, isn't he? Isn't he really? Username? Kohberger sure is, isn't he? Yeah, they kind of knew what happened, but would imagine. I mean, I'm just saying, put a 1 if you're tired of the whole why didn't the 911. I mean, it's just, I think everybody's sort of over that now. You know what I mean? Because you wanting to know the reason why means that you think that they're somehow involved. Because if you don't, then it's completely unrelated. You get it? All right, cool. Oh, good, Brenda. Good. He probably blocked you, so you don't know it. You have to sign on with a different name after you comment, and you'll see if anybody can see it or not. Okay, I'll ask Robin though. Why is it that you're curious and need to have the answer to that question? I mean, I've explained it. I can't tell you how many times I've worked through it with everybody saying, listen, the 2 girls, they heard stuff, they heard sounds, and then they saw a guy walking out, but they didn't know what happened. And then when she saw Xana on the floor when she's going down to Bethany's room, she thought, oh man, maybe she's passed out. But it wasn't enough for her to go, ooh, I'm going to call 911. That's like, in college, that's like the last thing that you do. Plus, she didn't want to go over there because that would verify that what she is looking at is real. It's really bad. Okay, so she went downstairs, and then they started still trying to call them, and they were probably kind of going, God, why isn't anybody answering? Why isn't anybody answering? But they didn't want to verify the horror or call any of the other friends at that hour, so then waited for the morning. Then they started getting a hold of people, and then people started showing up. And once you verify the fear, that means it's real. Okay. I'm hoping it wouldn't have actually happened. What? No. What do you mean it wouldn't have happened? Yeah, there's no way in hell the cops would have been able to. The murders happened in a 2 to 4 minute window, apparently. Right? So there's almost no way that it wouldn't have happened. And by the way, would she really have called on the first moment you heard something? I know you said that up above, but no, it would have happened. And it would take cops probably 3 or 4 minutes just to get there. Yeah, I mean, I guess if she'd called when she thought what she heard was Kaylee playing with her dog upstairs, then cops may have had sirens blaring. But I mean, what do you say on that call? Hey, officer, listen. I think my upstairs neighbor is playing with their dog. Can you come over really quick? Hurry up. They'd probably look at her like, well, what's wrong with playing with the dog? Oh, that's a good point. So the only time she saw Kohberger was when he already killed all of them. So if there was ever a time where she might call 911, it would have been right after that, right? But he left, she locked her door, and then she... Oh my God, now we're spending time talking about this again. Oh, shit. Well, the pro-burgers think the way they think because people are really into conspiracies. They love that. I think it's more to blame on the people running the YouTube channels that sell that nonsense to minds that are lacking the ability to critically think. All right. But hey, guys, if you guys would please help support the channel, we're currently now at what is it? At 40% of the goal. That would be awesome. Thank you. And getting some more channel memberships would be the best thing, because there's people out there that in this chat right now that aren't channel members. Maybe they'll stick around after they get one of those. Who knows? I stayed at a motel once and had heard lots of banging sounds at 2 a.m. Like furniture smashing into things, not people smashing into each other. And I didn't even want to call the front desk to be involved. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but who cares, you know? Sure, she had some drinks. They all had drinks. They were all really drunk. I think Ethan was probably absolutely hammered. And I think Xana was probably really drunk too, and she was getting her late night munchies. She may have even, you know, partook in, you know, who knows? Maybe she smoked a little pot or something. I mean, who cares? It gives a shit. But she wanted to eat some food at 4 in the morning. And Kaylee and Madison, who were in the same bed together at 2:44 when they started calling Jack the first time, they were just laying right next to each other, hanging out in the room, and I think they just went out. And they, I don't even think Xana's bed, or not Xana, that Kaylee's bed was even there. So that's the bed that they slept on. So it's yeah, that's just kind of how it all went down. It is. Yeah, so I you know, the thing is, I've been doing YouTube for, you know, 8 years, doing live streams. That's crazy now that I think about that. 7 or 8 years, live streams. And I've been making videos for longer than that, but I wasn't a true crime YouTuber until like 2017. And I don't think I've ever been a conspiracy theorist once this whole time. And I think that's why my channel, in some ways, like, it grows in spurts. Like, for example, this video that I just made the other day, I got like 700 subscribers from it. And, you know, videos are really what help build channels, not live streams. Hey, thanks, Susan Smith. Fight, fight, or freeze. Freeze is a known response. Yeah, fight or flight, right. Freeze is a known response. Yeah. Right, and I mean, a psychologist even said, she goes, their responses were absolutely normal. Yeah, that's how people are. It's okay, Robin, it's all right. I'm just saying, it almost seemed like you did that intentionally. I mean, earlier in the show, I just said, you know, off to make some dinner. Hey, all right, Mustang Sally, have a good one. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see what the numbers are on that video. I mean, the video had made good ad revenue too. I just rarely get videos that are like that. They usually get like make $70, and then the show just sort of augments the. But you know, when you have shows like tonight, it's hard to even making a video doesn't really help. Let's see. So that video had, hey, thanks, Perfect Tilt, or AKA Timothy Cecil. I don't know, Gray. I'm not sure Kohberger. I don't know, Gray. I'm not sure Kohberger is guilty. I think he watched someone else commit the crime. How unfortunate. Yeah, remember that when he was being a peeping Tom sitting out in his car? Yeah, that was amazing. That's that one right there. Let's see. Yeah, well, no, 940 subscribers from that one. That's crazy. Yeah. That's my 3D animation where he got ready. You know, so that video got 940 subscribers. I mean, that's crazy, right? When you only have 160,000, you know, you got 160th on one video, just like that. Gray, could you and accomplice have helped me? No. Gray, could an accomplice have helped Brian Kohberger identify a target? Well, sure, anything when you say could have something, sure, but no. That didn't happen in this case. Brian Kohberger is the killer. People want to rely on, did you arrest anybody else? You know, maybe he was talking about his dad, for all we know. We don't know. He looked at the house for 3 months. But anyways, thanks, Timothy Cecil. It'd be great if we could get 16 more channel memberships, and then we'd make it to the, you know, the old goal without me donating a 5 memberships. Great, could an accomplice have helped? No. Let's see, what else we got? He didn't need an accomplice. He had no friends. Well, he might have needed one. He just didn't have any friends. How did he know to... What does this mean? How did he know to immediately head up to that 3rd floor bedroom? Because Madison Mogan was his target. Yeah. And as I've explained... that's right, I wasn't going to say that anymore. just I can't, I mean, tell you how many times I've explained it. But look, see, from like right over here, you can see that right there, that window, and especially if he was parked where my car is, because even there it avoids the, notice how there's actually a wide open space there that you can see right into the stair window there, and you know that she's on the 3rd floor. I mean, he knew exactly where she was. He knew that you could go through the kitchen and then, okay, walk down the hall. Even if he'd never been in there before, just by watching enough, he'd know that there's a set of stairs that goes up. So when he walked into the house like this, he comes through here after going through the slider. So there he goes. He comes through the slider, and all there is to do is walk this direction. So you come in here. There's nowhere else to go except right down this hallway here. And then he goes, oh, there's the stairs. They're right there. And he goes up, and then he knows at the top of the stairs you take a right, and she's going to be on the right because her window's on the right. You know, it's just not difficult. You know, he easily, look at this. This is it. I mean, let me just stop it there. I mean, I think this is significant. Look. There's a sliding glass door right there. He comes in, the stairs go up, and at the top of the stairs you turn right and there's her door. It's so simple. Do you get it? Cool. Why do the prober... They think he was coerced. We need Alan McMahon here to tell us. Why do the Kohbergers think he confessed and pled guilty? Because he was forced. He's protecting his parents. The weird part is okay, he's protecting his parents from what? So aren't they saying in effect that he is the killer, but he's protecting his parents from them having to say what they talked about or something? Because what possible protection of his parents could he be doing right now? I mean, it makes no sense. He admits to doing it, and he's protecting his parents. But from what? Hey, Becky, what's going on? Let's see if we can get a wave going, you guys. We need one more push here to try to do something tonight. So on this channel, all the freaks help support the channel. I do the shows, you guys support the channel. And that's what we're looking to get some support for tonight's show, because we are currently... we didn't make it past the 50% mark, though. We're at like 52%. Ding, 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 ding. No, her animation isn't better than mine inside the house. Just saying. Her overall model, yes, it's better than mine, and she's got the ground outside. I didn't really, I think you can just see it on Google Earth. But yeah, I mean, her animation inside the house is nowhere near as good as mine is. And she actually copied camera angles from my video. Now, if you don't believe that, well, then you're just delusional. I even screenshotted 5 of the shots that are like absolutely the same, and that's not her animation style. Hers is like up above and from a distance, and all of a sudden, oh boy, here's one right after I made mine in May. There's this video that has the exact same channel, camera angles, etc. All right. Thank you, Robin. Robin the troublemaker. Yeah, and she copied some of my narration, Teresa, about the what did I say Xana was doing when she went in the kitchen? That she was when she went in the kitchen. Oh, here, let me just show you guys. All right, let me just show you. All right. I'm gonna go open up my video and I'll show you the same damn thing. Yeah, I mean, her animation was good. What I don't like is when people blatantly take something you do and don't say, hey, yeah, I got some of these ideas. I mean, it's so similar, it's crazy, right? Just some of them have different angles, like when he sat down on the chair, but the same thing about chasing and then confronting each other at the door, Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here, let's play it. Hey, thanks, KR4546. On the 3rd floor, and all right, I'll let it play. Let me just start it from the beginning, right there. Glass door. All right. All right. Well, I'll just do it the way I want to do it. All right. So anyways, you got this one. And I've done other videos where it's different shot, but like, see how that one's right there, and then this is her shot. I mean, come on. The guy even looks the same. I have the camera from here, but I've had other versions where I have the camera outside the door. You see that? So you got that one. And then, what's the next one? This one's the most blatant one coming up here. I'll show you. It's crazy. It's like the same angles on everything. But see, all this part's better, Like, look at this. It's creepy. And that's Brian Kohberger. He's attacking Madison Mogan. Then Kaylee wakes up and tries to fight back, kicks him a little bit. And downstairs, Dylan Mortensen wakes up. And see, I also did the lighting from the cell phone. She added that in there too. Xana is heading to the kitchen to put with the DoorDash bag, and I actually put the DoorDash logo on the bag itself. DoorDash, believe it or not. Bag. What a waste of time that was. And when she goes in the kitchen, she notices that the sliding... Look at, she notices that the sliding glass door is open. She said the exact same thing in hers. Glass door was open. And then upstairs, they're still battling. Yeah, now see that right there? And then look at this. You don't think like, I mean, the same angle through the sliding glass door. You see that with the refrigerator? That's in hers. You don't think that that's, like, come on. Going on, and Xana hears it. And then she goes around and then heads on upstairs. Yeah, I made this. Yep. I went to the, let's see, the Art Institute in Portland in like 2007 or 8, something like that. And I learned 3D Studio Max. And I just kind of started, I pay like $1,700 a year to have it still. And, you know, it's, for me, it's worth having just because it's like I can do stuff like this. There's to see what the commotion is. It's really, takes a lot of work though. And the girl that made her animation. Yeah. Kaylee's still fighting him, maybe, at this point. I mean, I don't, you know, I don't really care that much. I mean, she's really good at animation. She did the, you know, way better model and everything. You know, I can't argue with that. But my model's good inside the house, and I just don't have the retaining walls, etc., with dirt in it, and another road, and 500 Queen Road, and all the other homes around there. I just don't have any of that stuff. And then Dylan is hearing more noises, opens her door. And Xana's probably being really careful, like around the corner. But watch this one. Xana just carefully kind of creeping around. So see that right there? Look at this. I mean, come on. You guys don't think that that's like, really? You have this angle where Xana's right exactly the same place? See that? I mean, what do you make of that? What do you guys think of that? Right. I mean, that's just crazy, right? It's the same shot. Looks in there over a different shoulder. That's when Kohberger sees her and then chases her. And so this part here, she represented it differently, which is not the same camera angle, but look at that. There's Kohberger, and she's right at her door, and look at that. Watch this. Oh yeah, right there, okay. I mean, it's the exact same, you know, it's like, come on. Jesus. And then encounters her near the room, perhaps. There are some rumors out there that some of Xana's... Oh yeah, so check out this part. Watch this one. So... Oh, we already did that. Hold on. Near the room, perhaps. So we'll get through this other part here. Hey, it's okay, I'm here to help. And then he actually kills her, and then that's the thud sound. And then this is when he leaves. So he probably leaves the house right around like 4:18:30 or something. And see, that's when Dylan saw him. And so see that right there? And then look at this. Watch this. I mean, come on, you guys. Look at that. Even the bun-haired person. But look at, see how it's the same door looking from behind. At least I have the killer Kohberger in the shot when he comes by. Bushy eyebrows. Right there. See, right there. Boom. All right, and then goes out. Kohberger leaves the residence. All right. So isn't that obvious, you guys? I mean, you guys think, oh, Gray, lots of people could have came up with the same. Do you really believe that? There's only 2 people that made animations out there, and one of them made theirs in May. And all of a sudden the new one comes out and has the almost exact same angles on many of the shots. Yeah, okay. Anyways, just sort of frustrating, you know? Frustrating. And by the way, I put my animation out a while ago, and it only got like 30,000 views in May. So I put it out again recently, and that's when now it's got 85,000 on the new video. So isn't that just crap? Yeah. Yeah, isn't that wild, Jessica? I mean, is there anybody in here that thinks that's just coincidence? Honestly? Jeez. I mean, that's just crazy. You know? So I wouldn't mind if she had just said, yeah, you know, there's another YouTuber that made some of this stuff. I was inspired by some of those angles and everything, and you know, that would be what you're supposed to do. But people don't do that in the true crime community. They just take. Yeah, yeah, she did a good job on the, and I think she called one of the people the wrong name too. But yeah, you know, I mean, her animations are good. She's really good with the car animations and everything. I'm just talking specifically, like, isn't it weird how all of a sudden, a month after I made a full animation of what happened in there, then this other one comes out and it looks very eerily similar. All right, so I don't think there's a chance in hell that that they at least didn't watch mine and then go, ooh, I can do that too. Right. But hers is more court, you know, like it has generic bodies. You know, I put hardwood floors and stuff like that. Hers is this kind of a... Yes, I've seen... What do you mean you've seen it on TikTok? What do you mean? I didn't post this on TikTok. Well, that's the only video, Lucy. After that, my videos got like 4,000 and 6,000. So that was just luck, you know. People, for some reason, when I post my videos, you guys don't get notified. But hey, guys, we're still currently at... we need about 20... That's 14 more channel memberships to reach the goal tonight. Any chance of doing that with all the rest of you guys? That'll be the low goal where I can't do the 5 memberships. Someone else saw it there too, but where? I didn't post it on TikTok. Now, you might have seen hers on TikTok. I don't know. It's so similar, you might have thought it was the same one. Right. So didn't I tell you guys? Look at, see right there? Look at that thing. And then right back where it's supposed to be. Didn't I tell you that? Yeah, people steal shit all the time. If you get, why don't you send me the TikTok post so I can, you know, do something. They've told you it's all over TikTok? Oh, my first one might be on TikTok. Yeah, I made one a long time ago that was different. And it didn't have factually, you know, we didn't know anything. Like we were, remember it when we all thought Ethan was found in the living room, you know, like in the hallway and all that stuff. Like I have Ethan confronting Kohberger as he comes down the stairs and then chases to the room, and he's first attacked because remember they said his body was the one out in the hall. Yeah. But we should have always just kept relying. It didn't make sense, though, because it didn't match what the probable cause said. The probable cause document said that, you know, when the officer entered the 3rd floor, they could see a body in the room. It turned out to be Xana. And then while entering the room, he saw another body, and that was Ethan. So his would be... I mean, I always had him after that on the bed, and her body was on the ground. And then more recently, we found out that her feet were facing the door, and so we've got that all dialed in. Someone told me if I ever see it, I'll send it, but I don't really do TikTok. I don't do TikTok either. But I really would like to try to reach the goal somehow tonight. We've already been on here for 2 hours and 25 minutes, and anyways, it's okay. Anyways, I'm gonna get going. So I don't want to keep complaining, but I got to get going. So thanks to Richard Watts, at Naomi McFarlane, Janie Lee 6824, Linda Howell, 67 months. I mean, what is that? It's like 5 years and 7 months. Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Then we have Mustang Sally, Michelle H., Paul Marino, Jessica Schubach, John Dunn, Dixie Hippie, Paul Marino. Then we have Cynthia Gamez, Dirt Bike, Pastrana, and then she gifted one, and then we have Michelle H. Hey, thanks, Robin. And John Dunn, Atticrat, and Alan McMahon, and then gifted one and then became a new member, and then Dixie Hippie, Mustang Sally, Carolina 12, then Soundgarden Fan, Dixie Hippie, DRPIV, Laney Carter, Susan Smith, Perfect Tilt, Robin, and then KRF 546, and then Robin again. And then I don't know if there's anything, and there's absolutely no coffees of any kind or anything like that. So really big time struggle tonight. We did have a PayPal coffee worth from Sandy, but that's it. Anyways, all right, everybody, thanks for being here tonight. Hopefully tomorrow will be better, who knows. But, as I always say, until next time. Well, by the way, the show was pretty interesting, though, wasn't it? I mean, it was cool going over that document and then comparing the Elliot Rodger stuff, and the fact that Elliot Rodger actually had a friend named Maddie. And then if you think that Papa Rogers is Brian Kohberger, then Kohberger obviously had read the manifesto and would know of a person named Maddie. And maybe he looked for a Maddie. I mean, who the hell knows? I mean, what are the odds of that? That's crazy. Pretty wild, pretty wild. But anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person. Thanks, Robin. That is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody? Talk to you later.